Good evening, ICU Talk family. How are you? That ain't good. I can't work off that energy. I need y'all to pick that up. How are you? I'm telling you, it was just a couple of hours ago that Kim had sent a text that said somebody canceled and they needed a speaker, and all I could think was, can we change it to Wednesday? Because that's when my hair appointment is. Because I can't work under these conditions. But I am so grateful for the opportunity because I think that the topic tonight is very important: married, single, and divorced. I have been married for 26 years to a very wonderful man. I think he's a brother of Job because he is so patient. Like, he has really put up with me. And what I need you to do in these next 10 minutes, I need you to lean in, I need you to listen, and I need you to just let it penetrate, because this is going to go really fast. So I need you to just stay with me, okay, because I got a lot to say in 10 minutes. So what I'm going to talk about this evening is marriage is not about me. It's about us. Understanding and sacrifices. Now, I'm not going to ask how many people in here are married. I want to know how many people in here are not married. Raise your hand. I'm so happy for you. We all, as single people, I think that you have the idea that marriage is just this great, blissful thing, and it's just happy all the time, and you're running through the fields and you're doing all these things, and you get excited about the wedding and all those other things. But marriage is work. Marriage is nothing like planning the wedding, looking for the facility, choosing the cake and the caterer, and all the little pretty little invitations that you send out to your friends. Marriage looks nothing like that. Marriage is work. And for those of you who are married, you understand what I'm talking about. She said in her talk that the first year is tough. Go 4 more. And for my husband, it was probably 14 more. Because I would have to be, I'm very honest, I can say that it took me to my 15th year to realize that marriage is not about me. I was very selfish. I wanted my way all the time. I thought that, I didn't have to really be accountable. I wasn't unruly and out of order. But ladies, there's a subtle way that we could do things. And if you have a very patient husband, those things can really go undetected to us because we really think life is perfect. Why? Because it's working for us. And so what I want you to understand is that it's not about me. It's not about you as the individual. It's about you as one unit, as a collective unit, what works for the unit. So there will be some days that you will be happy about a decision that was made, and then there's some days you just won't be, but you'll have to compromise. And so one of the things that I need you to get a part of the us is understanding. Understand that you think differently. Men, you know that. You know that you think differently than we do. Because for women, we can have 4 and 5 different conversations with you and stay on top of each one, and you're trying to figure out which one is supposed to connect to this and what did this have to do with that, and you're just not understanding. And we're thinking that, why aren't you catching this? But as women, we have to understand, and it's this great book out there, I think it's called Men Are Like Waffles, Women Are Like Spaghetti. And that's so true, because men compartmentalize. And we got it like spaghetti all tangled up in there. And ladies, we can have a conversation with one another, 12 conversations, and then be talking to the kids and then yelling at the postman saying you got a package and still come back and catch up. But men are not like that. We need to understand that if we're going to have a conversation with our husbands, we need to sit down in front of them, not while they're trying to watch the game or something that they're trying to do, because now you want to try to talk to him during the game because that will prove that he loves you. That proves that you annoy him. That's what that does. That proves that you annoy him. So understand that if you want to talk to your husband and help him to understand, it has to be a specific type of dialogue, which that means that you're having a specific kind of conversation. It's not all these different things all together. And when he says, if he's sitting around and you're asking, what are you thinking? And he says nothing, please believe him. He really isn't thinking about anything. He really isn't, because he's just relaxing. They're not like us, ladies, where they're sitting down thinking about what to wear and what to cook and what to do at work the next day, who has to get to this game, who has to get here and get there. They don't think like that. So remember that we think differently, that we're different people. We come from different upbringings. My husband was born and raised in the South. I was born and raised in the city. I don't get rice for breakfast. I don't understand that, but he does. I don't get a lot of things, but you have to understand when you come from different backgrounds, there are two entirely different generations of beliefs and habits and structures that have come together. And at some point, if you don't figure all that out during the dating period, most of it gets worked out during the marriage. And you're going to have to work through that. And you don't have to like his mother, but you have to respect her. You don't have to like this part of the family member, but you have to respect them. Because when you show respect for his connection and for his family, that makes a better connection for the two of you. It makes a better connection. So just understand that you're different. I'm an extrovert, if you hadn't figured that out. My husband is an introvert. He can sit at home all day and do absolutely nothing and be content. I will be scratching and clawing and kicking things and wondering why we aren't doing anything. But I have to understand that's him and I'm me. And when you get to a certain point in the relationship, when everybody can understand and respect that, it makes it a great union. Respond differently. You respond differently. My husband is very calm. He is so patient. He won't say a whole lot to anything, but I'm going to hit a 10 at like 5 seconds. It depends on what it is. And then when I want you to argue, ladies, you know when we want them to argue with us. We get mad because they won't argue. Now I'm mad about the situation. Now I'm mad that you won't argue with me. Come on, I want to argue. It's like in me. I'm all fired up. And so here's something that men have to understand about women. If something happens that morning and she's angry and you don't resolve it, she's pressing on that all day long. And when you get home, you don't forgot about it. You trying to figure out what's for dinner. You trying to sit back and watch something on television, and you wonder why she ain't speaking. It's like them light bulbs up there. When one of them goes out, when a light bulb of ours goes out, we can't move forward until somebody fixes that light bulb, and all of them are working again. But for him, he can go with 5 light bulbs out and 1 beam, and he is good. He is good. So ladies and gentlemen, we have to understand the dynamic of our spouse. We have to understand how our spouse responds and not expect them to respond as we would. And I'm only sharing with you some things that it took me up to the 15 years of my marriage to learn. So whether you at year 1, year 5, year 15, married or single, 15 years of being single, whenever you find that right person, understand that understanding is very important. Then we're going to talk about sacrifices. Consider the other person's needs. I had to learn it wasn't all about me and what I wanted to do. I felt like going to do this with my friends. I felt like going to do this, that, and the other. But maybe he needed me to stay home and just hang out with him. Now, my husband's into science fiction. I'm not into science fiction. I'm fortunate enough that he's not into sports, but he's into science fiction. I don't know which is worse. But he's into science fiction. He's into Westerns. I'm not into that. I'm into crime. I love to watch CSI type things. I love to watch things that make me laugh, things that are goofy. That's not him. But we consider each other's needs. Sometimes he knows he needs to sit and watch something with me. He knows that I'm just a big Cam Newton fan. He has to sit there and listen to me like go on about Cam Newton, even though he could care less. Like, I just go on about stuff, and he's like, okay. I played kickball this summer with Cam. My husband doesn't watch football. He doesn't care about anybody out there, but he went out in the heat with me. He considered that I wanted him out there with me. So we have to consider each other's needs. Don't be a right fighter. How many of us want to fight till we right? We're going to keep on fighting. You're going to shake him in his sleep. Wait, how many, now don't fib in the church. How many of you woke somebody up because you want to finish the fight? Like, you'll nudge and say, I was just thinking about what we were talking about at 3 a.m., because we want to be a right fighter. Do you want to be a right fighter, or do you want to fight for your marriage? There's a difference. So fighting for your marriage means that sometimes you got to check yourself. A lot of checking of yourself. And so it's not always about being right. Sometimes this is just about being right with God. And what does he want you to do? And you ain't going to like what he wants you to do. I mean, sometimes, he talks to me all the time, and I'm like, God, you meant to talk to somebody else. You dialed the wrong number. Because you're not telling me to do that for real. And so I had to do a whole lot of checking of myself. And see, if you stop spending time asking God to fix your partner and tell him to focus on you, then you'll be amazed that while he's working and you focusing on you, something's starting to change over here, and you'll turn around and you'll be like, oh my God, what happened? Something different is going on. And then it's a give and take. You can't always just expect, gimme, 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 I want this, I want you to do this, you this is that and the other. No, sometimes you have to give into some things. And don't let nobody tell you that marriage is 50-50. It is never 50-50. It might be 50-50 like in the beginning when you split the wedding bill. That's the last time it's 50-50. Because sometimes it might be 99-1, 49-51. It doesn't matter. But whatever side of the percentage you stand on, if you're standing there with God, just know that when everybody gets back to the nexus of the center, the marriage is going to be right. So I leave with you, it's not about me, it's about us. Thank you.